All right. Speaking of teams that don't make a lot of mistakes, the Snider Panthers. If you were watching on Twitter at a different football game on Friday night, man, you thought the goose was cooked for Snider.
You thought there were a lot of tweets that were wrong. You had the score reversed.
Well, you know, they're giving the scores over the loudspeaker, and everyone's like, 19-0. Dwanger? What's happening? What happened was Snider turned it on in the fourth quarter, like a champion does. What is it about Snider's performance that has you thinking, okay, they've clinched the SAC's victory belt. This could be a team that could make another run to Lucas Oil Stadium, because I think the last couple of weeks we were kind of wondering if they had that moxie to do it, and they showed it in the fourth quarter against Bishop Dwenger.
Yeah, I would say so. Obviously, comeback. Obviously, they didn't give up. They fought back, and that defensive front really turned it on in the second half. The guys like Will Johnson and Lawrence Johnson and guys like that, Zach McDowell. I mean, those guys just turned it on, and Bishop Dwenger couldn't move the football in the second half for most of the second half, and then the Snider offense really started rolling, especially in the run game. Michael Hopper made a couple plays vertically, which is what they're going to need to do to get back to Lucas Oil Stadium. So phenomenal effort. That's exactly what Snider needed late in the season. They may get another test against Lures this week, but exactly what they need going forward into the playoffs is a definite tough game like that.
And when you take a look at Michael Hopper, you mentioned him, just kind of the maturation of being a starting quarterback for a powerhouse like Snider. At the beginning of the season, everything looked really easy. Then in the middle of the season, not so much. And now he's making key plays. How much does his maturation play into the fact that Snider is going to be a very viable opponent when it comes to the postseason for some of the best teams in all of 5A?
Yeah, you know, he's handled his maturation very admirably, because you got to think he was replacing a Division I quarterback in Isaac Stiebling, had not been a varsity starter. All of a sudden, he's thrust into a team that's ranked #1 to start the season, and he had to feel the pressure a little bit. And you know, the coaches can kind of tell him to loosen up a little bit, the players, but at the same time, he's got to find it within himself to handle the pressure that I'm the quarterback at Snider for the #1 team in Class 5A, and that can take a while. And he's made some mistakes throughout the year, but I think he's learned from them. He's running a little bit more. We saw him escape and run and get loose a little bit against Bishop Dwenger on Friday. And as he continues to improve, I think Snider is going to be helped offensively. And I think they're going to need him, because you look at that schedule in the sectional, you're going to play Concord and Goshen. Then you have Mishawaka, probably in regional. Then you have Westfield. Those are Mishawaka and Westfield 3 and 4 in the state. So it is going to be a very tough road. We were kind of considering, well, if they get into the postseason, not a lot of teams are going to scare them until state with New Pal. But there's a lot of quality northern teams that they're going to have to play.
And when you take a look at the offense for Snider, with Hopper playing an improved version of football, you take a look at, you're able to utilize Matt Kippenhammer a little bit more. Like, it makes the other weapons even more dangerous. Lito there on the outside. Can you key on Covington? Can you key on Woods? I mean, I think Hopper's ability to pass opened up the running game for Woods in the fourth quarter there. I mean, it just makes everybody so much better and allows you to utilize all the weapons that Snider has, because, you know, like New Haven, like we talked about, when they have that many guys, you can't just stop one or two, because somebody else could break one.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is getting Matt Kippenhammer in space with the ball. A lot of times we've seen them run those jet sweeps with him because they just haven't been able to get him the ball vertically in space. So we saw that Friday night. They were running a little bit more slants with him, getting him the ball down the field, and then he can make a move and then turn on his speed to get loose. That is where Snider is going to be at their best, if they can have Hopper run the offense 100%, get the ball to the playmakers in positions for them to succeed. And that, for Matt Kippenhammer, is lining up in the slot, lining up on the outside, and being able to get downfield vertically with the passing game.